Hello future Grandmasters, thank you for bearing with the terrible audio in the previous videos. We've got a new microphone and headset, so there will be no more audio issues. We're going to be reacting to Hikaru's sort of mini podcast on his channel. Here Hikaru addresses important issues in regards to American chess. He discusses whether he thinks I'm the future of American chess and some of the problems in the chess ecosystem. So I've also changed to 1x speed because there are some complaints that it was 2x was too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very murky. I mean, we don't need more nonsense, so I won't talk about certain player. But I think the fact
I wonder
is,
who that is.
at the moment it's very difficult because as far as U.S. chess goes, it's really, I mean, basically for all of us, everything has been held up by what Rex has done. Rex and Genie, the amount of money they've given to chess in America. I mean, they've probably given more money to chess in America than probably in the entire history of the game, frankly.
That's probably true. One big sponsor was Pietrogorski, and there were sort of others, but definitely none. If Fischer sort of took his sponsorship deals that he was offered after he became world champion, maybe you could have had you could have made a lot. But yeah, the English Chess Club gives an insane amount of money to chess, which everyone is very grateful for.
So without what they've done, none of this would be possible. I've been very fortunate. I've played in St. Louis on and off since 2009 when they first held the U.S. Championship. So it's amazing to see what they've done. On the other,
And Hikaru also lived in St. Louis. It's sort of a program, not program, but sort of an unofficial thing that when they sponsor players, they want them to live in St. Louis. So Carissa Yip just moved to St. Louis, and they're supporting her, I guess, in some financial fashion.
hand, Rex is not getting any younger. Who knows what the future is going to look like in 5-10 years from now? But I'm hopeful that there will continue to be financial resources towards the club and towards the events that they're hosting. I think when I look now, like regardless of Hans and all his nonsense, the fact is the U.S. is very far behind. Several countries in particular, I would say India, obviously, and India and Uzbekistan very specifically.
He's reading my tweet.
Very strong.
Guys, he's just copying my tweet. Can we pull up the tweet? I said the exact same thing.
You look at countries like Iran or Turkey, where you also have a couple of kids who are...
Yeah, this is like really funny because obviously right now, if you look at the average rating of the top American players, you probably have either number 1 or 2, maybe number 2 to India. However, Hikaru is saying that we're so far behind when we've done really well in the Olympiads and all this stuff is because the players that we have were not homegrown American chess players. They are players that, for example, that played for other countries for some until the age of 35, some until the age of 20, some until the age of 22. Like Fabiano, he developed in Italy. He played for Italy. He played on the Olympiad team on numerous occasions. Dominguez, I think, played on the Cuban Olympic team, maybe until 35, even maybe later. Aronian was a Armenian national hero. The prime minister was the best man at his wedding. He was a star in Armenia. They had won sort of Olympiads together. So if those players who had become really good had sort of gone through the American chess ecosystem and grown naturally, then it could be sort of evidence that there's American chess has a system. But since those players only played for America because of financial incentives provided by St. Louis and Singfield, there's no sort of cycle and sustainable system for growing talent. Now, I was born in America. I was raised in America. I lived in the Netherlands from the age of 7 to 9. So my parents were expats. Otherwise, sort of my entire chess career was in America, and I never had any support. The only sort of financial support I got was the Sanford Fellowship, which was not that significant, but it was something. But I never received a dime from the St. Louis Chess Club, let's say directly. Of course, I got to play in the tournaments, it was very helpful, but of course now I haven't played in a single one of the tournaments for 3 years. But the main thing is that India and Uzbekistan, all of their players were born there, and all of their players received support and were groomed to be champions from a young age. But in America, we don't have that system. So when you look at St. Louis and the federation, when in reality the federation is absolutely irrelevant. Like St. Louis is the chess federation in reality. All of this money they're investing, instead of going to Fabiano or Dominguez, Aronian, and saying, okay, guys, you come to St. Louis, we're going to buy you a house, we're going to do this and that. Say, okay, let's go to Mishra, let's go to Andy Woodward, let's go to me. Let's give them coaching. Let's give them money so they can travel. Like, you know, if they invested the money in sort of acquiring older players, sort of like it's like a football league and you can just buy players. It's really what they're doing. Instead of having an Aroni or Dominguez play for like five to 10 years, you would have like, you know, someone, or, you know, have like, you invest more into the growth of someone like Sevian or Zhang or a Wonder. Like imagine St. Louis said to a Wonder Liang, like, okay, drop out of college, we're going to give you $100,000 a year and just play chess. Like a Wonder is a very talented player. I remember I was like, when a Wonder was 2650, I was like 2450, right? So, you know, who knows how much potential our homegrown players have, but it's the mentality of America, or at least of St. Louis, that they just want to buy players. When in reality, a country like Uzbekistan and India, it would not even cross their mind to say, reaching out to players, offering them money. Like for example, Azerbaijan bought Naidic. Naidic has played for I think Latvia, Germany, Bulgaria, Azerbaijan. You know, at some point you sort of have to question, like, why is he making these switches, right? So I would say it's a lot like the reason why we're behind. And if you look at like in the next 5 to 10 years, American chess is going to have serious decline because there aren't that many talents in the pipeline. For example, Abhimanyu Mishra. Like, why is this guy not getting sponsored? Why does he have no sponsors? It's mind-boggling.
Really, really strong, and are frankly like very annoying for me to play against. Whenever I play like the Turkish kids in the bullet brawl, you know, there's like half my age and they're beating me. It's very frustrating, but that's how it goes. And so I think you have a lot of you have a lot of talented kids from these countries, and they're far ahead of the U.S. I think
I wouldn't say, you know, Andy Woodward and Mishra was the youngest grandmaster. The main issue again is that there are so many. Even someone like Brandon Jacobs is talented, but America has the curse of being such a well-developed country that you can make money outside of chess, right? In some countries where the sort of for example, Uzbekistan, where the average wage is like $500 a month, being a chess player is like the best job in the world. You can make so much money. But in America, when you compare the earnings of a chess player to sort of going to an Ivy League and taking a finance job, right? It's easy to sort of take the easy way out. So again, you know, there needs to be infrastructure, there needs to be incentives, and again, it's just like culture and ecosystem. People you know, the American players there needs to be camaraderie. There needs to be like, you know, people need to travel to Europe. Like all these American players just want to play the stupid American Opens over and over again, 2 games a day. You know, bad conditions, no brain preparation. It's just we need to have a culture of excellence, right? And all the Uzbek players, they train together. The Indian players, like it's the Iranian players, it breeds a culture of excellence, right? And America just doesn't have that because we're not incentivized to do that because all the players, you know, are unfortunately, you know, were not, let's say, the careers did not develop in sort of an American ecosystem, which shows that there is just not, like for me to reach the heights that I've reached and hopefully far beyond. Without any institutional support was insane. It's unheard of.
I don't really know if there's anything that can be done about it other than perhaps having some kind of system where there is more money for...
Okay, of course something can be done about it, right? You take all the money that's being given to Aroni and Dominguez and others. For example, like... there are women's players as well that switch. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Sponsor Mishra, sponsor Woodward, sponsor me, right? Like every single tournament in St. Louis, give wild cards to all the talented players. You know, sponsor Sevian, right? Like Sevian doesn't play that many games a year. People that, you know, get us coaching, right? Like, okay, fine. You have St. Louis has Dominguez and all these guys living in St. Louis. Like, make them coaches for say to Dominguez, okay, you know, you came to America, we give you all this money. Why you're gonna coach Abhimanyu Mishra? You know, like you're gonna work. Like, there's so many things that can be done, right? It's just whether people actually care.
for the rising players. I think you might still have things like the Sanford Fellowship.
Yeah, so
like,
I
that's
received
pretty
this.
much
Yeah.
it as a
Anyways, let's go to number 53. He spoke about me later.
Yeah, I mean, I basically I think there's more potential there on the girls' side than the men's side at the moment. I'm not saying that it's going to be like that.
Yeah, this was a weird. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in women's chess, but the numbers sort of clearly say that I think there's more potential on the men's side. But Alice Lee, for example, is a huge talent. But another thing with Alice Lee is like all these players need to play outside of America. Like playing in America, first of all, people are underrated, and you need to break out of the cycle, right? Whenever you have a rating plateau, you need to break the cycle somehow, right? So, I think that I sort of during COVID, I just played all in Europe, and I played any tournament I could. So,
Not forever, but I think at the moment when I look at the current crop, I feel like there's more potential.
Is there less competition also on the girls' side?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that yes. On the girls' side, there aren't. I mean, you don't have players who are like rock solid top 10 players. I mean, that's the thing. You look at us. Like, I mean, myself, Wesley, Fabiano. Like, I mean, all of us have been perennial top 10 players for the last decade or so. And it is true that currently we don't have that on the women's side. Irina was, I mean, at some point I think she's over 2,500, but never super close like the world championship level.
Well, I mean, but,
yeah.
More internationally.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, that's going to lead to a different topic and a can of worms. But I think at the end of the day, there's more potential there. And for the people who want to be apologists for certain
apologists,
the fact is, you look
apologists. This is like guys, apologists. This is a political term that carries serious weight. Like the connotation of apologists is quite extreme.
at India, you have kids who are 3-4 years younger than Hans who are already world champions.
Kids, there's one who's world champion, who's 3 years, I think 3 years younger than me, who's very good. But I did beat Gukesh in our only classical encounter, and Hikaru fails to mention his role in stunting the growth of my career. But again, in due time, I will break through the blockade.
World champion level, 50 plus points higher rated. So I'm sorry, but the reality is that
I wouldn't say that 50 plus points. I would say it's about 20 or 30. I'm 27, 36. I would see there's Arjun, who I also have a very good record against. But anyways, I was top 8 in the World Rapid and Blitz. I almost beat Magnus. I beat Hikaru over the board in Rapid. Speechless Championship, I beat Wesley So, beat MVL, two of the sort of best in that format in the world. I beat Anish Giri, Vitugov, Vidit, Bakro, almost, narrowly lost to Dubov. So I think my chess has spoken for itself. And,
but he's not at that level. So,
look at this silence. Like,
do you guys have anything?
It's just so awkward. Look at the death stare from Hikaru.
You want to add on this conversation?
I mean, I think I'm gonna bounce in a second. I've been here for a long time, and just seeing some of the comments, like whatever.
Anyways, probably the chat was trolling him. Anyways, so conclusions. Obviously, Hikaru was mauled in. He's pretty salty that I continue to improve despite the sort of insane things that they've done to hinder my development and to prevent me from playing at the highest level. Or playing at my highest level. Of course, having 3 years of no invitations to the St. Louis Chess Club is basically like being sort of exiled in your own country, which is not just disappointing from that I can't play chess. It's just sort of mentally disappointing, right? To be sort of ignored and intact in a country I love so much. But such is life, and you don't become great without a difficult path. So, of course, I'll continue to improve and to fight. There's a packed tournament schedule. Of course, my next classical tournament, guys, could be in September. So when people say, oh, why, how dare you play in Russia and Aeroflot? Before Aeroflot, I played the US Championship in October. If I did not play in Aeroflot, that means that I could have gone from October to September of next year, basically a year of no classical, which is extremely detrimental for my chess. If you go out of practice, it can really have quite negative effects. So that's the state of my chess, but I will continue to persevere and improve, and we'll continue to let the chess speak for itself. Thank you again for watching, future Grandmasters. See you in the next video.